Today's guest on the Life and a Living podcast is Adam Lean, who's the co-founder of a business called the CFO Project. Now, the CFO stands for, as you probably guess, the Chief Financial Officer. But the CFO Project business that Adam heads up is all about providing experienced, skilled CFOs on a part-time basis to their target market. And the target market is anybody who's turning up towards kind of 5 million turnover, but really is an organization that could badly do with and would benefit hugely from having the presence of a CFO, but does not have the financial wherewithal or the need for a full-time CFO, and they provide that. And he goes in, it talks about how they provide that, how they engage with the client. But I mean, the whole promise that they make is that they talk about helping their clients make more money in less time with less stress. And, you know, really what Adam talks about in the podcast, he talks about the mistakes that business owners make, that in terms of they can be expert in the field that they're in, but not necessarily in the area of financially managing a business to optimize the profit. And at the end of the day, that's what the business is there for, is to optimize a profit. So Adam talks about the process that he walks his clients through to ensure that they really are clear about what are the things that they need to do. And they provide reports on a monthly basis that are reports, but not just kind of typical accountants reports. They are reports that a business person will understand, and that comes up with recommendations on a monthly basis as to what they should be doing in order to optimize the business and optimize the profit in the business. So it really is, you know, it's a great service. It's innovative, it's creative. They've got their own process that they go through, that they walk all their clients through, and they clearly see that it is working, and they're expanding their network the whole time. So this is really, really great opportunity for anyone listening in who could really benefit from having a CFO, but as I said, does not have the wherewithal to pay for it or the need to pay for a full-time one, but they want to have somebody who's expert in that space, and the CFO Project will deliver that. So it's a great interview. Really recommend that you listen to it to the end, because at the end he's talking about giving away a book that will be really valuable to you as well. There are plenty of other good podcasts on the website, www.johnmurphyinternational.com, where we've interviewed a ton of brilliant guests that will give you loads of information and loads of tips and strategies on a range of subjects in terms of how you optimize your business, optimize your teams, and optimize the people. But in the meantime, sit back and listen to Adam Lean as he talks about his business, the CFO Project. Today's guest on a Life and a Living podcast is Adam Lean, who is the co-founder of the CFO Project. Adam, you're very welcome, and thanks for joining us here today.
Oh, I'm really excited. Thank you for having me.
Now, listen, this will be fun. So maybe just explain what the CFO Project is and why you set it up.
Oh man, yeah. The CFO Project, CFO as in Chief Financial Officer. Here's the thing. Every business needs somebody to help them figure out how to make more money. Most people start a business because they're an expert at what that business does. So if you're a dentist, if you're trained in dentistry, you're probably going to start a dental practice. If you're a expert in roofing, you're going to start or buy a roofing business, and so on. And so what that means is that your genius, your expertise is in the craft of what the business provides. So that's where you need to be spending most of your time. However, that doesn't always mean that you know how to make money from your business. Mm-hmm. And half of all businesses fail before they reach year 5, their 5th birthday. Before they reach their 5th birthday, half of them fail. And it all boils down to the fact that they ran out of cash. It doesn't mean that dentist wasn't a great dentist or that roofer wasn't a great roofer. They probably were. They just, half of those people had to shut down their business because they ran out of cash. And so everybody needs somebody to help them figure out how to make more money. Well, that's what a CFO does for big businesses. That's why the biggest businesses in the world all have a CFO, a chief financial officer. Everybody needs somebody like that, but the problem is most businesses, most small and medium-sized businesses can't afford a CFO. I mean, they're expensive, but they need somebody. They need what the CFO provides, which is how to make more money. So we created a way to provide what a CFO would give to a big business. We created a way to do that for small and medium-sized businesses, so they know how to make more money and have a successful business.
Okay, and so you mentioned kind of grouping small business. I mean, who's your ideal client? Who kind of falls into that? Yeah, they're the people that at the CFO project, they're the sort of clients that we're looking for.
If you've been in business for at least a year and you're making less than $5 million in revenue, then you're an ideal target client, ideal client. So if you're doing, let's say, between 500,000 to 2.5 million in revenue, you would be an ideal client, ideal person that we can help make more money for your business. Because here's the thing, business owners are constantly confused when it comes to the numbers of their business. They have bookkeepers, they have accountants who do, whatever they do behind the scenes. Most business owners don't know. Frankly, they don't care, and they really don't need to care as long as they're doing their job properly. But the problem is the bookkeeper or the accountant will give the business owner some reports at the end of the month and say, here's how you did. And the business owner will look at it and it looks like it's written in Greek. They don't understand it. The parts that they do understand, they're like, okay, well, great. If profit was down, they're thinking, well, I'm depressed, but I really don't know how I got that profit. If profits were up, they're elated, but they still don't understand exactly how they got it, much less they're confused about what they need to do next month to make sure profit next month is looking good, or that they're going to have plenty of cash in their bank account next month to pay the bills. They don't know. And then so then what they do is they turn to the bookkeeper and accountant and say, can you explain this and help me figure out how to do that? How to grow my business, how to strategize, how to make sure I make more money. The bookkeeper and accountant is the person they turn to, but the bookkeeper and accountant can't answer those questions because that's not what they're getting paid for. Their job's not to help the business owner strategize in the future. Their job is to record what happened in the past properly.
Okay, so if I look at the promise that you make, which, let's be honest, is a fairly significant promise. You say that you're going to, and I quote, you help your clients make more money in less time with less stress.
That's right.
Which is quite an ambitious promise.
Let's be honest
about it. It's a tall order. So, I mean, so how do you help the business owner make more money in less time with less stress? What do you actually do for them?
That's a good question. So we've created what a CFO would do, because that's what a CFO does for Microsoft, one of the largest companies in the world, have a CFO, even though they have millions of dollars in the bank, to help them make more money. So we created a 5-step process that we bring all of our clients through every single month in order to make more money. And the beauty of this is that the business owner doesn't have to understand numbers or understand accounting in order to know how to make more money. So the 5 steps, very simply, the first step is what we call a business assessment, where we'll assess where the business was for the past couple of years for revenue and profit and cash flow. And there's of course other things that we measure, but those are the big 3 that we're assessing. Then we're going to help the business owner set targets for this year for certain metrics that all add up to revenue, profit, and cash flow. We're going to help them set targets for December 31st. They'll know exactly what they want to hit in terms of revenue, net profit, and how much cash they want to have made. So we'll have a target, a goal that we're aiming for. Then every single month, their CFO, so somebody on our team, will, and they'll have the same CFO every single month, will analyze their business and their numbers behind the scenes. And then we'll get on a video call, Zoom call, and we'll show the client very clearly how well they're doing by giving them a scoreboard. We're not going to review the balance sheet, the income statement, any of those financial reports that are made for accountants. We're going to give them a simple scoreboard, one scoreboard report that will show them exactly what's going right and what's going wrong in their business. And the scoreboard is color coded, red, green, or yellow. So everything that we're measuring is either red, green, or yellow. So then we're going to show you, here's what you did and how well you're on track to hit your targets for the year. So anything in the red or yellow, we're going to talk through, figure out why. And then on the same call, the CFO is going to give the business owner an action plan of up to 3 things that they need to do this month in order to stay on track to hit their targets. So anything that's in the red or yellow, we're going to pick out the top 3, the most important 3 things. And then we'll say, here's your action plan. Let's strategize on how to make it happen. So that way, the business owner who is in their business every day, fighting fires, dealing with customers, doing production, making sales, in the time they could carve out to work on the business, at least they know that they're working on the things that matter. Because that's the problem. Half of these businesses that fail, they're working on things that just don't matter to keep the business going.
Okay, so if I take on one of your CFOs, right? It's my business. I take on one of my one of your CFOs, and we go through that assessment and we kind of set out a plan and all of that. How much engagement do I have with the CFO? Okay, I know I've got a monthly Zoom call with them. Is that the extent of the involvement, or is there more involvement?
So we tell our clients they have unlimited access to us. So you'll have your CFO's phone number, email address, and so you can schedule a call or email them anytime. However, we do have those set monthly calls once a month. And honestly, our clients, we realized that that hour or hour and a half that we spend together once a month preps them for the next 30 days.
Right.
So they don't have any, our goal at the end of the call is for them to know exactly what they need to do, the next steps they need to take. So this doesn't take a lot of time, and we designed it that way because business owners, that they want to focus on what they enjoy doing. And so we streamline it and make it so clear, and we strip away the noise and the confusion, and say, look, these are the 2 or 3 things that need to happen, and here's the next steps on how to get there.
Yeah. So, I mean, so typically, I mean, I don't know if there is a typical, but I mean, typically when you look back on the clients that you've worked with, what is the kind of growth in profit that you have been generating for your clients? Or do you, what is that how you measure it?
Yeah, well, we measure a lot because
I'm sure you can. Well, you're accountants, which you would, yes. Yeah.
A business should not spend any money, whether it's on us, marketing, any expense, unless they're going to get a return. And so on that expense. So if you spend $1,000, you need $1,001 in profit for it to be worth it. Otherwise, you might as well keep the money in the bank account. So we measure our effect, how well we're doing. And we tell clients, we don't have a contract for that reason. If we're not helping you, if we're not making more money than our fee, then there's no point in continuing. And of course that doesn't happen because we make sure that we help the client make more money. But the things that we measure really boil down to 3 main things. The first is more profit for the business. Number 2, which is more important than profit, is cash flow. You can make a profit all day long. If you don't have cash, you're out of business. So we've got to measure cash flow. And the third is the business owner's sense of well-being. Do they enjoy what they're doing? Are they getting burnt out? Do they need to pivot and focus on something else? Like, how is the business owner's mental state? Because the business owner needs to run their business, and so they have to be mentally and emotionally equipped to do that. And we're their guide. We're helping them. We're meeting with them every month and helping them. We're helping them develop this sense of this peace of mind. So we're measuring profit, cash flow, and your peace of mind to know that you're confident and you're equipped to run the business that's going to be profitable.
And again, typically when you go to take on a new client, or a client comes to you to take CFO on, typically what are the big gaps that you see?
That's a good question. The business owner doesn't understand their business from a financial standpoint. It's the biggest gap. What's the point of being? I mean, there's only one reason to be in business, to have a business, and that's to make money, right? Even if you're altruistic and want to do this for the community, or
well, if you don't have any money and you can't do it anyway. You can't do the altruistic piece if you don't have the money. Yeah,
exactly. Even nonprofits have to make money
yeah, exactly.
in order to provide and I'm on the board of a nonprofit. The whole point is to provide the service that the nonprofit provides. Well, that takes money. Mm-hmm. So regardless, the whole point of a business is to make money. And so the business has to be designed to do that. I mean, you think of your business as a machine whose entire job is to make money. So every piece of the machine has to be well tuned, well oiled, so that as a whole, it's running to do the one thing it's supposed to do, which is make more money.
Mm-hmm. So to go back, what do you see the things that people normally, the big gaps?
Oh, yes, I got sidetracked. The number one gap is that they don't understand the one thing that the business is designed to do. They don't understand their financials, which, money is a financial concept. They don't understand that. And so that's a big gap. So, a dentist, I'm going to use as an example, who buys a dental practice, they're focused on the dental, on production, on providing the service, the dental practice side of things. Well, if they don't understand their numbers, they may not have money in the bank to pay their staff or to be able to do marketing to get more customers. It all starts with understanding the numbers. And here's the problem. Accountants and bookkeepers have made it incredibly difficult on their clients because they give them these reports that are designed for accountants, not business owners. I mean, you're a business coach, so you understand this. You work with business owners. What average business owner really understands how the balance sheet and income statement, a statement of cash flows works together, and they use that to make more money? Almost nobody. Because it's confusing, because those reports are made for accountants, not business owners. I mean, think about it. Your income statement tells you revenue minus your expenses equals profit. Well, it doesn't tell you how much debt you have to pay, how much taxes you have to pay, which all comes out of the bank account, how much you're not collecting from your customers, how much inventory you have to buy. So a lot of clients tell me, I'm doing a lot. I'm being told that I'm making a lot of profit. I'm paying a lot of taxes, but where's the money? It's not my bank account. It's confusing. And so we've made it so that it's clear to what's going right and what's going wrong when it comes to the financials of your business. So that's the biggest gap that business owners have.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, isn't it? And as you say, so many businesses go bust for lack of cash rather than lack of profit, and because they just can't keep the business going. In terms of the business of the CFO project, how long has it been established?
So that's an interesting question, because I started 4 years ago, because I used to own a business, and I used to be an accountant, and I started a business, and I started helping other business owners, and that morphed into this. But then earlier this year, I merged with another firm who's been in business for way longer than that. So collectively, we have about 20 years, 20 years experience. I've been doing this formally for 4 years, but it's through my experience of being a business owner. I owned a couple of businesses myself, and just seeing this firsthand, the frustration, and I had an accounting background.
Yes, yeah.
I was confused,
Yeah.
you know, so that morphed into what I'm doing.
Okay. And for the I mean, the business proposition that you have is, I mean, I can see the real value of it, because you've got somebody who's got the expertise, but you're not paying for that expertise full time.
That's right.
And so in terms of capacity, have you the capacity to grow the business and to provide the service in a very significant way?
That's a good question. After the first 2 years, I was at capacity myself. I couldn't take on any more clients. I could take on more clients, but it would affect the quality of the service I was providing. So I started hiring other people who were qualified, and that ended up being, the first couple of people ended up being a disaster because I was having them, they were qualified, but they didn't have a system.
Right.
And I was thinking, well, let me do a preliminary review of my system, but they weren't using the system. So then the CFOs that I started getting on after that, I started training in depth those 5 steps that we went over earlier, our system, and then that clicked. And so now what we're doing is we have a network, and what we call the Association of Business Advisors, of CFOs who are trained on our system, but they also have their own experience from their background. And that, so every business business owner client that we get will be given, their CFO will be one of those people in our network.
Right. Okay. So you can scale that as you grow. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great service that you're providing to companies, and I think it's, you know, because I think sometimes, you know, kind of business owners fall in who can't afford a full time, end up with kind of a bookkeeper, somebody who actually maybe just understands very fundamental, and doesn't bring that level of expertise that a CFO needs to bring. I mean, I'm not being demeaning about bookkeeping or anything like that, but you know what I mean.
You have to have a bookkeeper, right?
Yeah, but you do need that expertise that's going to tell you exactly how you can leverage and actually get the optimum profit from the business. And I think that's what the CFO project does terribly well. So I think it's a great initiative, and I think it's a great service that you can roll out. And I've no doubt there'll be a number of people listening and saying that is exactly what I need. Before we wrap up, Adam, and you can tell us how people can get in touch with you. 2 questions I ask everybody: a book that you have read that's made an impact upon you. What's the book, and what impact did it have?
Oh man, I love reading, and I mean, I've read a ton of books, and so trying to pick one is very difficult because I've got a lot of them had an impact on me. But as it relates to our conversation, one book I would recommend is Rich Dad Poor Dad.
I knew you were going to say that one. I actually just knew. I did.
Really?
I just, in my own head, I was thinking, I wonder what book he's going to pick, and I thought, I bet it's going to be Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah.
By Robert Kiyosaki. And the one line that my favorite line, because it applies, is that it doesn't matter how much you make, it matters how much you keep.
Yeah.
So if you can make $10 million in your business in terms of revenue, but if you're not keeping any of it, what's the point?
Yeah. No, it is. It's a very powerful book as well. I agree with you. Daily rituals, do you have any? What are they, and how do they make your day come alive?
So I feel like I'm a structured person. And so the one thing that's sort of a daily / weekly ritual is that on Monday mornings, I will prepare what the main things I want to accomplish for the week are. And right now I use Microsoft To Do software to do this. So I'll make a list of all the things that need to happen based on because I use the action plan. I create one for myself. So the major things that I need to do in order to make more money for my business, I boil that down to 2 or 3 things. And then from those 2 to 3 things, I figure out, all right, what are the next steps that I need to do this week? And then I'll prioritize that. And so then every morning, there's 10 things that I came up with, or however many on Monday morning. Every morning throughout the week, I'll pick the 2 to 3 from that 10 that I want to work on, that I want to accomplish today. So every day I know I'm working on something that will impact the main things that I need to focus on in order to have a more profitable business. So that's my main ritual.
That's a very disciplined habit, though, because it actually makes sure that, you know, to quote the Stephen Covey, is that you're making the main thing the main thing, and keeping it there. So I mean, that is very, very powerful. Adam, this has been great, very informative. I think it's a great service you provide. How can people get in touch with you? We will put it in the show notes, but just so that you can share with them here, people are listening, how they can get in touch with you now.
Yeah, my website is thecfoproject.com. So thecfoproject.com. If you click the green button at the top right, it says book a call. That you can literally book a call with me. It's my calendar. Just schedule a call time that will work for you. And we actually just came out with a new book. Do you mind if I give the book away?
Please. Yeah. Oh, be delighted. Yeah.
Just go to the cfoproject.com/moneybook. All one word. MONEYBOOK. No spaces or anything. The cfoproject.com/moneybook. You can download a copy.
That is fantastic. Listen, thank you for doing that. Adam, it's a great pleasure to have you on the show. Look forward to catching up. I look forward to catching up with you real soon, and let's pick up and see exactly the developments in the CFO project.
Thank you so much, John.